You and Jungkook were married from 4 months and he is very cold and possessive person. He don't usually talk to you but whenever talks coldly. This was an arranged marriage. You never thought that your husband would be so cold and possessive. You were missing your family, so you decided to go to your parents' house and meet them. You went downstairs when everybody were doing breakfast. Wine. Mom? Mrs. John warmly. Yeah, Wine, do you need anything? Come do breakfast. Wine. No, thanks. Actually, I was missing my parents, so I thought to go and meet them. When Jungkook looked at you while eating. Mrs. John. Well, that's a great idea. You haven't met them since you married, so go for sure, she said with a smile. You smiled and was about to go towards the door when Jungkook spoke. Jungkook, I will drop you. You looked at him confused. Wine. Why? I can go by myself and your office is also in opposite direction. Jungkook coldly. No problem. It will not take so long. I will drop you. Until then, do breakfast. You were now pissed off by his behavior. Why can't he let you go alone anywhere? Why is he so possessive? Wine coldly. I am not hungry. He got up as he did his breakfast and you both went from there. He was driving when you looked at him angrily. As you don't like to be controlled, he is just too much. Jungkook, looking on the road, said coldly, calm down. Don't boil your blood. Wine coldly. You are the one who boiled my blood. Why can't you let me breathe? He didn't say anything and focused on driving. When you looked out from the window and thought, how can someone be so cruel? He dropped you to your parents' home when you were about to leave when he said, Jungkook, call me when you want to go back home. I will pick you up. You stared at him angrily and then left. When you went inside the house, he left from there. As you entered, your dad was sitting on the couch and got so happy and surprised by seeing you. Mr. came happily. Wine, he came and hugged you. Mr. Kim, how is my daughter? He said while smiling. Wine smiled. I am fine, Dad. How are you? Mr. Kim, I am also perfectly fine. Mrs. Kim came from the kitchen and got surprised while seeing you and hugged you. Mrs. Kim, how are you, dear? You surprised us today. I am really glad you are here. You smiled. Wine, I was actually missing you, so I thought to visit you. Mrs. Kim, we also missed you a lot. Wine, really? You never came to see me. Mrs. Kim, we missed you. You can think whatever. And come, let's eat. Wine smiled and nodded. All right, you all ate together. Wine, yum, this food is heaven, Mom. I really missed it. Mrs. Kim smiled. Eat as much as you want, dear. Wine said while your mouth was full of food. Yeah, I will. They both chuckled. Wine, by the way, where is Stella? Mrs. Kim, she went to her friend's house. She will be returning any time. You nodded and ate well and went to your room, which is now taken by your sister. I guess it happens in all the families that after elder sister's wedding, the room automatically goes to the younger siblings. You went inside when you saw around the room was changed. Here was not any single stuff of yours. You sighed and sat there. Wine POV. There was a time when this was mine. What a time that was. I was free from all the stress. I had freedom to do whatever I want. I can go wherever I want. And now that possessive man is controlling me. You were thinking when your sister came running and when she saw you, she quickly came towards you and hugged you tightly. Wine. Yeah, relax. I'm not able to breathe. Stella broke the hug. Stella happily. Yeah, I missed you so much. I really wanted to meet you, but I got so busy with my college and exams. Wine, yeah. Now you can give any excuse. Stella, hey Dumbo, I am serious. Wine acting to be worried. Really? Stella, how? Wait, let's go to hospital. You both laughed and started chatting. Stella, now we'll talk a lot. Firstly, tell me, how's your husband? Is he caring? You know what? When I first saw him, it felt like he's a prince of somewhere. So handsome, elegant. She was about to speak when you put your hand on her mouth. Vine. Yeah, stop it. My ear started paining. He is not as good as you think. Stella confused. Why? Wait, how's your relationship going on with him? Don't you love him? Does he care about you? Do he loves you? Tell me everything. You looked at her and took a deep breath before speaking. Vine. He is not as you think. He is so cold and possessive person. He is so controlling. He says, Vine, don't go out alone. Don't come late at night. Don't wear short dresses when you are out with boys alone. He don't leave me alone. He just control me. Today also when I told that I am coming here, he said he will drop me. Even though he was getting late for office, his office was in opposite direction. But still he dropped me here and said me to call him when I want to go home. I am caged. Stella looked at you worried and sighed. Stella, so maybe this can be because he loves you? Vine, love my foot. He don't love me and that anybody can tell. He's so cold, don't talk much with me. He's all busy with his work, but when it comes to me, then if I came back home late, he scold me. Stella, so you just want to be free? Vine, yeah, I don't want someone to control me. After all, it's my life. Stella, do he hurt you? You looked at her. Vine, no. Stella, do he cheat on you? Vine, no. Stella, do he disrespect you? Vine, no. Why are you asking this? Stella, he don't do anything bad to you. He's just a bit possessive. It can maybe because he is afraid to lose you. You just need to talk to him calmly. Vine sighed. Stella, ask yourself, do you love him? Vine, no, I don't. Stella smirked. Really? Vine, yeah, and I don't know how it feels when we love someone, but I know that I don't love him. Stella, you will get to know that you are in love when he will touch you and you will feel butterflies in your stomach, when you will feel the pain if he'll get hurt, when you will think about him even if you will be surrounded by many people, when he will not be with you, you will feel something is missing. You looked at her with weird expressions. Stella, don't look at me like that. I have a boyfriend and I know how it feels. But you are so boring and stubborn. Stella looked serious. Why don't you give him a chance? I mean, you can try to love him or start with liking him. He's your husband after all. Try to talk to him nicely. Vine, no way. He's not my type. I'll never fall for him. Stella, yeah, you are so stubborn. I told you to give him a try, please. She said while looking in your eyes. Vine, no. Stella, please. Vine, no way. Stella glared at you. Vine, leave all this. I don't want to talk about him. Change the topic. Stella looked at you and sighed. Vine, how's your company going on? Stella, all good. You continued chatting when time skips to evening and Jungkook came. Mr. Kim smiled. Welcome, son. Jungkook greeted them and looked at you. Vine, why are you here? Mrs. Kim, oh dear, why are you talking like that? It is also his home. He can come whenever he wants. You rolled your eyes. Jungkook, I just came to pick Vine up. Vine, I didn't call you. Mr. Kim, Vine, what happened? Did you two fight? Jungkook was silent when you moved your face in another direction. Stella, they are always like this, Dad. Mr. Kim looked at Stella when you looked at her. Stella told everything that Vine hates to be controlled and she thinks Jungkook is being overpossessive. When Mr. and Mrs. Kim looked at you both and Jungkook looked at you, you glared at Stella. Mr. Kim sighed. Mr. Kim, why don't you tell everything to her? He said to Jungkook when he sighed. You looked at them confused. Vine, what? What are you hiding from me? Jungkook, Dad, I just thought it is not safe. That's why I did it and I guess we should leave. It's late. Mr. Kim looked at Jungkook worriedly but then nodded. You angrily went outside near the car when Mr. Kim talked to Jungkook after you left. Mr. Kim put his hand on his shoulder. I don't know why you are tolerating her hate, but I guess you should tell her the truth. That why you are so possessive and you guys should start your life with love. I know you love her, and I know if you are with my daughter, she is always safe and she will fall in love with you too one day, and that day will be soon. Mr. Kim smiled and Jungkook also smiled and nodded. In the car, you were staring at Jungkook. Jungkook, why are you looking like this, Vine? He said while looking straight. Vine, what are you hiding from me? You narrowed your eyes. Jungkook, it's nothing important, Vine. Vine stubborn. Why don't you share anything with me? Jungkook sighed. Jungkook, Vine, please, I'm not in the mood to argue. So please, we'll talk about this later. Vine, whatever. You want to control my life but didn't share anything about yourself with me. You said angrily and looked in the direction of the window and stayed quiet. When you both reached home, you both went to your room. When you went to washroom to change into night dress, and when you returned, you saw him laying on the bed. His big body was covering half of the bed. He didn't remove his shoes and already slept. He was looking really tired and exhausted. You looked at him and then you don't know what came in your mind. You removed his shoes and socks, gave him the blanket and put pillow under his neck. But when you touched his neck, you felt his neck so hot. So you quickly checked the fever and he was burning with fever. His face was all sweating, his hairs were messy, face all sweating, but still he was looking so good and perfect. But you quickly called the doctor. When doctor came and examined him, he gave him medicine and told you that it is just because of overworking or taking much stress. He just needs to take a break and rest. When doctor left, you sat on the bed near him. When after about 30 minutes you looked at him, he removed his blanket and was being restless in sleep. You went towards him and he was sweating, so you thought that maybe he is feeling hot. So you turned on the AC, when suddenly you noticed that his shirt's first 3 buttons were open and something was there on his chest. You curiously went towards him and was about to see when he held your hand. You were above him, your face were just inches apart, his breath brushed over your face and you felt butterflies in your stomach. Jungkook, taking advantage of me? You looked at him with wide eyes. Vine got up. No, I was just. Jungkook raised his eyebrow. Jungkook, I was just. Vine, there is something on your chest, I guess. Jungkook looked at you and smiled. Jungkook smirking. Do you wanna see? You looked at him when he removed his shirt, and you got shocked when you saw your name tattooed on his chest. His body was well built, and your name was looking perfect. You looked at him curiously and surprisingly. Vine, what is this? I mean, my name tattoo, why? You looked at him when he came towards you. Jungkook calmly. I did this just before our wedding. I liked you when I first saw you. I knew this was an arranged marriage, but I wanted you to give all the love, so I tattooed it and thought to show you after our wedding. Your heart started beating fast as you got to know that your cold husband actually liked you. Vine, then why you didn't show it to me? And why were you cold to me? Jungkook sighed. Because things change. As just after our wedding, my rival came back and he called me to congratulate me, but I knew he will plan something dangerous to take revenge. It's just because I insulted him in front of everyone in the party when he was trying to touch my girlfriend. And when I insulted him, he went from there with rage in his eyes. After 2 days, I got a horrible news that my girlfriend has been harassed by him and he tried to touch her inappropriately. Jungkook, I was burning in anger when I quickly went to my girlfriend's apartment, but it was too late and due to all this, she He maybe did something worse to her, which I never knew. After this, police investigated and he got prison for 7 years. I was so heartbroken and I always blamed myself for not protecting her. It was a hard time. Jungkook. So, when I got to know about his bail, I thought not to repeat my mistake again. So that's why I become protective and never let you go out alone. I am sorry if you think that I was trying to control you. It was not my intention. I was just trying to protect you. And today I got the news that he got prisoned again as he again did something illegal. And now I am a bit relieved. I am sorry for everything I did, but my intentions were never wrong. I always loved you, Vine. You looked at him, and it was all taking a while for you to digest. He just confessed his feelings. You stayed silent for a while and remembered Stella's words, that symptoms she told about love, and you were having them all. You felt butterflies, you got worried for him, and when he was telling the story of his past relationship, you were feeling his pain. Is that mean that you love him? Jungkook cupped your face. I love you, Vine. Your heartbeat started getting faster. Vine. I'm not sure, but I guess I also love you. He smiled and chuckled. Jungkook. Alright, then be sure about your feelings. Maybe this can help. She looked at him when he kissed her. As Jungkook's lips met hers, a cascade of shivers raced down her spine, electrifying every nerve in her body. In that moment, time seemed to stand still as the intensity of his kiss overwhelmed her with a mixture of excitement, anticipation, and an undeniable rush of emotions. It was a moment they both wished would last forever, etched into her memory with the intensity of 1,000 stars. You broke the kiss and looked at him. Jungkook, are you sure about your feelings? Did it help? Vine smiled. Yeah, she smiled. They both hugged each other. From that day, their love story took a beautiful turn and they spent good memories with each other. Their love story teaches that it's not only about saying those three magical words, it's to feel them, to express your love in actions, not just by your words. I hope you liked this one shot and do tell me in the comments how you liked it. And you can suggest me some topics too for one shots. Subscribe to my channel, like the video and share it with your friends if you liked it. And do check out the other FF2 if you haven't watched them.